And there it is, guys. We had a little bit of a push down. We're getting a nice little push there at the 25-second mark. But we got a little bit of a push up. We got 1 more second to go. There we go. Hey everybody, Mark here. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today, and it's great to see you again. We're going to be doing some live trading inside of Pocket Option using a 5-second strategy that I use almost every single day. And so you can consider this like a full tutorial. And it doesn't really matter on your experience level. If you've seen my channel before, maybe you have some experience with Pocket Option, or if you're brand new, that's okay. I'm going to walk through and show you all of my settings, the chart settings, and there's no indicators for this specific strategy. So if you guys find that maybe indicators can be a little bit overwhelming or confusing, well, this is the right video for you. So let's just go ahead and jump in. Now I have $1,000 up here inside of my real account, and you can see here's my demo over here. And here's my real account. So real money that we're trading with today. I use this 5-second strategy almost on a daily basis, and it helps me stay profitable inside of Pocket Option. So it's really, really cool. It's low stress. I feel somewhat relaxed, as some of you have said, leaving comments on my videos. You say that I look very relaxed when I'm doing this strategy, and I am. I am pretty relaxed for the most part. It's very straightforward, and it doesn't even really take a lot of thought. And I have that sort of like ADHD. And so if you do have a short attention span and you like to see a lot of action and things happening very quickly, then this is going to be something that you may want to check out. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started here. Over on the chart settings for today, we're going to be selecting regular candlesticks with the 30-second time frame. So just go ahead and click on S30. I will not be using the auto scroll, so I have that disabled right here. Now over here, up here on the expiry, we'll be setting this to 5 seconds. So just go ahead and click on S5 and you guys will be all ready to go. So just to clarify again, that's going to be a 30-second time frame, regular candles, 5-second expiry. That's it, guys. It's really not much more complicated than that. Now, far as the scenario on when you should enter the trades, I'll be explaining that. And I think by the end of this video, you guys will really have a hold of this and you'll be able to do this strategy very, very easily. Another important thing, in order to stay profitable, it's not just the strategy alone. We must incorporate something called money management. And we use that money management by using a trade manager, more specifically the Wealth Warriors Trade Manager, which is my own trade manager that I use. And I can share with you a little bit later on how to get this trade manager. But this is a highly advanced manager with calculations and an algorithm behind it that allows you to win even if you have losses. So if you find yourself with many, many losses and consecutive losses, and you're having trouble trying to get yourself out of that hole, you find yourself in drawdown inside a Pocket Option, you're always breaking even. You're not able to get that balance any higher to make it grow slowly over time. And that's exactly what the Wealth Warriors Trade Manager will do for you. So I've entered my initial capital. So these boxes right here are the boxes that you can edit with your own settings. And so here's where we set how many trades that we want to win out of how many total trades. So I must win 2 out of 12 in order to become profitable. Now with this strategy, usually I'll end the session within the first 3 or 4 trades that I take. And those trade slots are over here on the left. And so the trade manager gives you the exact amounts for those each and every trade that you do. So there's no guesswork. You don't have to wonder how much do I enter on this trade or that trade. The trade manager will take care of all that for you. Okay, so the first trade amount that the trade manager gives us is over here on the left on slot number 1, which is 191. So let's go back over here to Pocket Option and enter this in. 191. So we enter in the exact amount that we get on the trade manager for the very first trade. Everything looks pretty good. We've got the expiry time and the time frame correct. Now what we're going to do is make sure that we do have an asset that's paying out 92%, which we do. Something that we like where we don't have a lot of wicks, but the market and the price is moving at a decent pace. In other words, it's not stagnant. It's not just sitting there in one spot. And that's what I like to see. Now, what we're looking for here, these are 30-second candles, which means that each candle represents 30 seconds. And after the first 5 seconds of that 30-second candle, I will enter a trade. Now, there are a couple scenarios where I will not enter the trade if after the first 5 seconds of that 30-second candle, if it looks indecisive, in other words, if the candle body is really small, or if it's switching back and forth between red or green, I will not enter. I will stay out of the market, I will change the chart, or I will just wait. So let's take a look here. We had kind of a little bit of an opportunity here. We had some red coming down, and then now we have this, here we go. So now I'm not ready to enter the trade yet because we must wait until a new 30-second candle appears. So I'll go through this a couple times, just so for those of you that are watching this for the very first time. 28, 27, 26, 25, looks like it's moving pretty good. And then that's the point when I will enter. Now, which direction will I trade in? Well, if it's green, I will buy. If it's red after the first 5 seconds, I will sell. That's it. So pretty straightforward. So this chart looks pretty good. I can wait here. So even though it is a 5-second expiry, it will require some patience. Okay, so let's watch for the next 30-second candle so we can start to take some trades. And I think once you guys see some more trades here, you'll start to grasp this whole thing and start to learn how it really, really works. So we're coming down here, of course. That was not a good entry. You can see after the first 5 seconds of that 30-second candle, the candle was green, but it was a little bit indecisive, and so I went ahead and stayed out. So I'll move this over here a little bit. Let's go ahead and zoom in. I think I'm already zoomed in all the way here. But we're at 27, 25. I'm going a little bit against the grain. This is a little bit risky, guys, but at the 25-second mark, it did have a little push-up, but that was a loss. Now, what happens if we do have a loss, which is not something that you guys should always worry about. If you're going to have wins, if you want to win, you're going to have some losses. That's just how the game works. So I'm going to mark this first one as a loss. The next one is 362 is the next trade amount. And I will go ahead and enter that in. Great. So I'm just going to wait for that next 30-second candle. It's always nice to win the first trade on these videos, but guys, the reality is you could win, you could lose. There's only 2 things that can happen. The market will either go up or down. And that's the reality, guys. And it's just really how you guys handle the money inside a pocket option. And this looks pretty good, but it was a little bit indecisive. Let's go ahead and change the chart to something else. Okay, I like this one. Looks like we're coming up here. I'll zoom out. Okay, we're still kind of overall kind of going sideways, but momentarily we had a little bit of a push up here. So let's wait for that next candle. There it is, 28, 27, 26. It's a little bit indecisive, so I will not enter. I will go ahead and stay out. And these are just the rules that I go by. So let's go ahead and hang out here and wait for the next 30-second candle to appear. There it is. And so here's the new one. We got 29, 28, 27, and 26. I'll go ahead and enter just so we can get some trades in for this video. And there it is, guys. We had a little bit of a push down before I entered that trade or entered that sell. Showed a little bit more red, and the body was not too small. It had a pretty medium size to it. Wasn't the best candle, but we went ahead and entered anyway, and we won the trade. So let's go over here to the trade manager, and I will mark this as a win. Now the next trade amount is under $1, so I will go ahead and just probably reset the trade manager because we can't trade with less than $1 inside a pocket option. And I always mention that on all my videos because some of you might be fairly new to pocket option and you may not know that. So I didn't know that for about a whole month. I didn't even try to trade with less than $1. But what we're going to do is mark one session completed. And then what I can also do is enter in the new balance that I have inside a pocket option, which is 1,001.42. So let's go ahead and enter that in, 1,001.42. Great. And that looks pretty good. And the first trade amount is going to be 191 for this next session. So we've already completed one session, guys. That's how fast you can complete a session. And everything looks like it's all set up. Let's go ahead and continue trading. So we've got many more trades to do here. And let's go ahead and get started here. So we're waiting for that next new candle, new 30-second candle. There it is, 29, 28, 27. But look at that. So it's almost like a pancake. It's like a very, very small bodied candle. And I'm not going to take the trade on that. So we can change the chart. This chart is okay. You just need some decent movement in the market. And, it's going a little bit sideways here overall. If I zoom out, this whole thing is just going sideways. But we have those little moments of upward and downward movement. And so we're trying to catch those. And, okay, look at that. That was a good entry. Did you see that? Right at the 25-second mark, if you would have went in green. Look at that. And then after that, it just pushed up a little bit. Of course, that's looking at everything in hindsight. But let's just hang out here. We've got only 5 seconds left, and we can take another trade here. So set the risk with something that you're comfortable with. And I've had some of you guys ask me, how do I maintain and be so calm on my videos? And that's just because, I don't trade with more than I'm willing to lose. And I think that's just a really good rule to follow. And so 362. There we go. And we're just still going right along here. And let's just, yeah, I don't know what this is doing here, if it's going up or down. So we have some members in the group that love this strategy, which is called the Fast Five. And this is all they do. This is all they do is they just improve their skills with this one strategy. And some of them are getting really, really good at it. Yeah, I'm just not feeling that, guys. Let's go ahead and change this to another pair. If it's not really moving enough for you, this might work, but look at those wicks, if sometimes you can get you enter the trade, it can reverse on you very, very quickly if you're on a chart with those longer wicks. Yeah, the candle bodies look great. Well, let's just give it a try. Let's just get some trades here, because I know we are recording the video and you guys are watching and you want to see some action here. So let's go ahead. 28, 20. Well, this is jumping on all over the place here. So let's go ahead and try this out. Okay, so I went against this there. That's okay. So that is another loss. We mark this as a loss for this trade slot, which is trade slot number 2. And then the trade manager gives us the next trade amount automatically. So we don't have to do any calculations or math. The algorithm that's built in behind this is figuring out the exact amount. So if you do win, you don't have to put in double of whatever it is or 3 times as much as the previous trade. You only have to put in just enough to where if you do win the next trade, you will come out in profit or break even. Of course, we've set our settings here to win 2 out of 12. The next trade amount is 681. Let's go back over here and put that in. Great. And so, all right, what's going on here? 28, 27, a little bit risky. We could hit some resistance, and I was a little late on that. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a pump up. What we did get some more rejection there, and that is another loss. Let's go ahead and enter in L for loss. And then the next trade amount is 1263. Great. And maybe that's, and every time I enter, it just flips and rejects on me, and that's probably due to those long wicks there. So I'm going to choose something else. Okay, let's go with this. 29, 28, 27, 26. It's a little bit indecisive. And unfortunately, yeah, just let's just keep looking. Just keep on going. For a good trading session, I would say somewhere around 45 minutes a day. 45 to an hour is all you really need. That might be a bit much for some of you. But for me, that's kind of like a sweet spot. And once you sit down, you start trading, I find that the time kind of goes by pretty fast. So 19 seconds to go on this 30 second. Let's just go ahead and wait this out. And you can see the power of the trade manager. Even though we do have some losses, you'll be able to recoup those losses. And then you guys can start a new session. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and enter and get in there. Need a little bit more push up. That was another loss. So now some of you guys are sweating out right now. It's okay, don't panic. We've got the trade manager on our side. The next trade amount is at 2306. And also make sure you have your trade amount limit turned on, which means that it prevents you from trading over a selected amount, whatever amount that is. So it's a safety feature. So if I put in $50, Pocket Option will not allow me to trade with more than $50. It just won't let me. It'll prevent me from entering the market. So, and you guys can turn that on by coming up here. Click on the little gear icon up here on the top left of the chart. Click on trading mode and make sure that trade amount limit is turned on. And you will not believe, no matter how many times I say that, we do have some members in the group that reach out and say, "Hey, I didn't have the safety feature turned on, and I messed up." But sometimes it works out in your favor. You may put in a trade for $100, and you win the trade, and that's great. But not always is the case. Okay, you may lose that 100 and more. So, yeah. So let's try this out, guys. We're getting a nice little push there at the 25-second mark. And that is a win. So we've got 4 losses. Now we're not done with this session. We still need to win one more trade to complete this session. Okay. So even if your strategy, maybe you're only winning like 20% or, I only need to have a 17% win rate to come out of the session in profitability. Okay, so that's what I'm willing to risk, and you don't want to trade with more than you're willing to lose, and that's considering the whole balance. That's not just each and every trade. So now, if I can predict what it's going to do and win every trade, I will not need the trade manager. If we could predict and win every single trade, or maybe even get like a 90% win rate, which I don't even think I've ever seen that. I don't really think that's possible. But if that was out there, if we could actually achieve that level, first of all, there probably wouldn't be much of a market if your win rate was that good. Maybe there are some traders out there that have an unfair advantage, and they know how to really, some of those high frequency traders, those are usually the ones that can really hit those higher win rates. But for most of us, that's not really the case, guys. So we're just average guys, average Joes on here and trying to make some money with pocket option. And so let's make sure that we enter the next trade amount correctly. You can see the next trade amount is smaller now. Look at that, 633. It's even actually smaller than the third trade up here, or the fourth one. Yeah, so 633. And let's go ahead and put that in. And really happy to have some of you out there just following along and hanging out with me on these videos. And some of you just like to watch these videos or have my videos playing in the background. I think that's totally cool. I never thought of such a thing, but it's kind of like having someone there just to kind of go along with you and like a partner, so you don't maybe feel like you're doing this alone. And that's totally cool. I've got over 100 videos on my channel, and so lots of trading, lots of videos on pocket option. Okay, so should we stay on this chart or should we switch? Let's see here. Let's wait for the next 30-second candle and see what it looks like, and then we'll make a decision and go from there. But I could be hitting some resistance here at the bottom. Yeah, let's change this. And resistance is, what I mean is, you have these zones. So let me grab this rectangle here. And you may not see it unless I draw it out. But you can see how the price is responding to this specific area down here. You can see it's came down a little bit. But it's right about here, you can see the price rejecting off of this, sometimes we call it a zone, or you can call it a little bit of like support. But yeah, you kind of want to watch that a little bit. And I do look at that. I don't use any indicators with this strategy, but I may just kind of eyeball the candlesticks and make sure it's, if I'm entering a sell right at the bottom of a zone, that might be something I might want to consider, maybe want to stay out and choose a different chart, because that could increase my risk a little bit for that trade. But for me, I'm just going to go ahead and choose another one of the top assets here. And this looks like it's just coming down. And even though it's just on its way down, it doesn't mean that it's going to continue down. As soon as you enter, the whole thing could change direction. And I know a lot of you guys are familiar with that. You know how it feels, right? You enter, it looks like it's an overall downward trend, and you enter a sell, and the whole market turns around. Because we really don't know. The only two things that can happen is everything could either go up or down. Not a lot of movement there on that at the 20 or at the 5-second mark of that 30-second candle. These are not very large candles, so yes, it's going to be going fairly slow. Trying to get more trades in here for you for this video. We got about 4 more seconds to go. Okay, well, decent. Not really crazy about it. Let's get a little bit more push down there. And that was a loss. So let's go ahead and mark that. The next trade amount is 1320. So back over here. And let's just go ahead and hang out and keep watching. But it's not really moving a whole lot. It can be really random at many points of the game. And if you blindfold yourself and hit the buy and sell button inside a pocket option, overall you're probably going to average around a 50% win rate, somewhere between 45, maybe even 55%, which I don't really recommend. You want to have some type of strategy, but the strategy is not everything. I think it's only a part of profitability. The other part is money management. So well, okay, a little bit late on that, but we got a little bit of a push up. We got 1 more second to go. And we won that trade. So back over here, I'll mark this as a win. Oops, let's go ahead and do that again. So we have 2 wins, and we've set our options into the trade manager to make sure that each and every session is profitable only after we win 2 trades per session. and that's 2 out of 12. So we have done that. Let's go ahead and click the up button on the session counter. Let's go ahead and reset. And back over here on the trade manager, 1,348. So now these might be smaller numbers for some of you, especially if you're trading with $1,000. That might be a lot, but for some of you, that might not be that much, right? Well, there is a daily goals calculator over here. This is actually a compound calculator that I've built into the trade manager. And this allows you to set a daily goal. For example, right now, by default, it's set to $25. Well, you can see that we've already completed 2 sessions, and $25, what's $750 a month? You know, you only need 12 sessions that are required to achieve that, and that'll give you approximately around 2.5% account growth for every, for all of the sessions after you're all said and done. But yeah. Looks pretty good so far, guys. Let's continue trading. How we doing on time? Pretty good. And I will just make sure to enter in the new trade amount. We've already updated our initial capital with the new amount. So that's 191. So we return back to these smaller trade amounts. Okay. And that will give us room in case we do find ourselves in a bind or in a situation where, we need to use more capital in an instance where we do have some drawdown. We will be able to do that. We won that. So, well, if I select win, the next trade amount is under $1. Let's go ahead and reset. Mark another session completed. Go back here, 1,457. When you win that first trade, the very first trade, most likely you're gonna have to go ahead and just reset the session and start over again. So that's a very common thing. But let's look at the next trade. It's 192, and this is it. This is all you do, and you do this every day. It doesn't really take that long to do. 45 minutes a day. That was a little indecisive. I'll probably go ahead and switch to chart. And we've got only, these are the only pairs up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pairs. Yeah, these are the only ones that are paying out 92%. But all the other ones have dropped down to 70 or 80%. And some of you have asked, well, what if I want to trade a live market? Which you can do. Here's a live market. The only thing with that is that you have a payout around 89%. But if you still want to trade a live market with the trade manager, all you have to do is give yourself a buffer. And you can do that using the payout percentage. This is an option here. All you have to do is just, let's just say, you're trading with a live market and it's an 85 or 89% payout. You can just enter in 85 to give yourself some room for that slippage. If that payout amount does drop inside a pocket option, you will be covered for that drop. For me, I like the highest payout possible, so I will select some of these higher assets up here at the very top. And yeah. So let's go ahead and just continue on here. $28, $27, $26. Yeah, it was just kind of hanging out. Going to change the chart. Okay. So generally everything is kind of looking the same today, but that's okay. We're going to pick one here and go with it. All right, let's try this. It looks like it's going up though. Yeah, kind of flipped around on me there. And that is okay, so here's what happened, guys. I switched to a live market. You can't trade with less than a 1 minute expiry with a live market. So when I switched to a live market, it switched my expiry to 1 minute. So we've got to be careful about those things. So we have really no idea what's going to happen. We've got to wait another 15 seconds to see if this is a win or a loss. But that's okay. We got the trade manager on our side. But if that does happen, just make sure to switch this back to 5 seconds, because those are the settings that we use for this specific strategy. So that was a loss, and that's okay. The first trade, let's go ahead and mark this with an L, 364. And some of you watching this you probably have already noticed that before I entered the trade. And, you know, I'm talking, I'm showing you guys things. There's a little bit of a fatigue because I'm recording a video. I'm trying to do everything right. And I make mistakes. And it happens. And I don't edit that out. Normally, I just leave it in the video. So, but yeah, I always extra check everything. We've got a payout at 92, trade amount 364, expiry 5, and time frame 30. So all this looks really good. Let's go ahead and continue. $28.27. Just not feeling it, guys. So let's go ahead and switch this around to something else. Let's try this. We got 7 seconds to go before that 30-second candle. Great. Ooh, this is going to be, I don't know what it's going to do, guys. Yep. Okay. So let's mark this as a loss. 683. Let's pick up the pace. Four more seconds to go. Pocket Options got some, you know, they're always opening up some raffles and stuff like that. I just entered the raffle. I have no idea if, you know, I got the $1 million raffle that Pocket Options doing right now. Maybe for some of you that are watching this video, that may be a past thing, but just for the time being. 146. Here's a little raffle over here. The Great 8. I guess you can win a $1 million prize pool. And you guys can enter that in if you want to. I went ahead and did that just for fun, guys. So, yeah, if I do win that, I'll probably fall off my chair, but it's just kind of going sideways. Let's go ahead and change the chart. Even OTC is struggling for those higher payouts of 92%. Look at that. That 91% is sneaking up there. Ooh, those wicks are huge. So let's go ahead and do this. 29, 28, 27, 26. There we go. And went ahead and entered. We've got 1 more second, and that is a win. And was that last one a win? Yeah, it was. Get some more results there, guys. So we've won that, and that session is completed. Let's add another one on the session counter. Let's go ahead and reset. And you can see the Trade Manager does all that for you automatically. It was at one point in the past, on the very first version, everything had to be entered in manually. We've added some buttons. But the new version of the Trade Manager is really, really cool. A lot of stuff is automated and automatic. I'm not going to give everything away. But the Trade Manager version 3 is coming out. It will be released on May 7th. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a moment. Let's take the balance that we have, 1,663. And the trade amount is 192 for the first one here. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assets are at the 92% area. Those wicks are big. Kind of scary, but all right. Here we go. Oh, this is risky, guys, but I just want to get some trades in because you guys are watching this. So there we go. So that's a win. Let's go ahead and reset. Add another trade. So do you guys understand how the strategy works? I hope you do. Please watch this video back. I really want you guys to grasp this. You can fly through these sessions fairly quickly, but what I want to do is talk about the new version of the Trade Manager because some of you are watching this. Maybe you have never seen the Trade Manager before. This is version 2. So we started on version 1, of course, and version 2 was a big deal. We added this section over here, the session counter, the daily goals, and we also added a stop loss. And that was by high request. So version 3, almost I would say 90% of all the new features of version 3 have been requested by you guys out there, and most of you inside of the private VIP group. And this will be released on May 7th. And the new version delivers advanced risk control, smarter trade tracking, a brand new optimization tool to help you stay disciplined and to also maximize your profits. So it's got, the performance is faster. It's a smoother interface. It's built to protect your capital even more and give you total control over every session that you do. So it's really exciting, guys. And if you guys want to get the Trade Manager, because a lot of you have asked me, well, Mark, if I already have version 2, do I have to pay extra to get version 3? And the answer is no. Once you become a member of the Wealth Warriors Alliance, which is it's a very affordable one-time fee. This is not a subscription service. You don't have that bill coming in every single month. It's nothing like that. It's a one-time fee, and most of our members make that back within the first day or within the first couple days. So the Trade Manager, though, is something, it's only one of the many different cutting-edge tools and spreadsheets that we have to offer inside of the group. And once you become a member of the Wealth Warriors Alliance, this is lifetime. So any updates, any upgrades I do to all of the spreadsheets, or any new spreadsheets that I add to the club, all of that is free for you, and there is no extra cost. So I just want to put that out there. So if you're already a member of the Wealth Warriors Alliance, then great. I will be posting the new version of the Trade Manager on May 7th. Now, the other thing is that when the new version 3.0, when that launches, the price of the membership will change. So the price to get access to the Wealth Warriors Alliance, where you guys will get access to all of our strategy videos, all the exclusive video training that we have inside, and the entire VIP community, which includes the strategy vault with other members that are posting strategies that are working for them. Inside there, we have over 1,300 members. I need to update this because I keep changing this number. You guys are joining, and the screenshots and everything are just incredible. We've got members that are posting the results inside of the group every single day. But what I want to really get out there is that for those of you that are waiting until version 3 is released, there will be a price difference to join the group. So I just want to put that out there. If you get in now, you lock in your spot, and you will get the Trade Manager, the new version 3, when it becomes released. So I just wanted to put that out there. You can learn how to compound your account with the different calculators that we have inside of the group over the course of 30 days. and we've provided those to you. We've had several members that have compounded their account over several weeks and several months. All of that is included. You can trade anywhere in the world on your laptop. There is limited functionality on a phone when it comes to the trade manager, so I wanted to put that out there. I recommend all of you to trade on a desktop or on a laptop or something like that, because you're going to get the full functionality. It's just, for me, even especially me, it's just easier to win and having a much larger screen. So I do recommend a desktop for that. But that's the Wealth Warriors Alliance. And this video, we're about almost 50 minutes here. So I appreciate you guys all coming out today. And so we'll be creating another video tomorrow. Hope to see you again. And that's the strategy. Try it out. I wish you all the best of success. Hope to see you in the group. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.